What is going on, Knicks fans? Welcome to another edition of the KFS pregame show presented by our fine folks, and our good friends at WynnBet. My name is Andrew, GMAC. His name is Mensa from KFS. Shout out to all of my fellow members of the OB Hive. Man, was last night crazy, and boy, has the excitement not worn off at all yet. Um, I just want to get this out there from the start, Mensa. So I don't have sources. I don't have many sources, I should say, but I don't pretend I have sources. Those of us at KFS that do have told me expect Obi to play starters minutes tonight, that the training wheels are off. That I have been told I'm allowed to say on the show. For those that are just tuning in and did not hear any of the news today, Quentin Grimes is out with knee soreness. Mitchell Robinson is out 7 to 10 days with a sprained right knee. So there's an opening at starting center. And as of last night, there's an opening at starting two guard. My prediction would be Isaiah Hartenstein starts, but Obi comes in and finishes. And I guess it would be Cam Reddish, honestly, would start. So we'll give our reactions to the starting lineup announcement when it is officially released. Mensa, last night was amazing in so many different ways, and wild and crazy and confusing in so many different ways. The question I have more than anything else for you, what the hell? How'd that happen? What happened last night? Like, what was going through your mind as we were watching Tibbs actually be flexible, actually try things, and man, get us honestly make the adjustments necessary that led to a victory last night.
Fred Katz had a great tweet about how it was Knicks fan fiction.
Yes,
Basically.
Knicks fan fiction.
Fiction, yeah. I could not believe what I was seeing, but also it was like Tibbs had no choice. When Jericho Sims was out there, we were playing 4-on-5. Usually he's good for setting screens, but you could tell that he hadn't practiced with the first unit or the second unit, and he was just out of sorts out there. And having him in the game against a team that was already undermanned, we like going down by 10 points was a little backstory. When I saw that after Embiid was ruled out and the Knicks were given plus money on the money line, I was like, "There's no way the Knicks lose this game. This is a must-win game for the Knicks. Tom Thibodeau knows it's on the line, and we just like, how do you lose to a team without their two best players when you're basically fully healthy?" So I put a 4-unit bet down, which is as irresponsible
Yeah, geez.
as it gets.
You put 4-unit bet down on what again?
On Knicks money line. So during the first half of the game, I'm like, this is looking great. I'm excited. We're gonna take advantage of the books here. And by the third quarter, I'm having a conniption. It was not fun. So watching that game, like, emotionally, not only was I fully invested as a Knicks fan, but I was fully invested financially. And yeah. So, and by the time I realized that, okay, this might go south, the hedge was gone. So I'm saying all that to say that Tom Thibodeau realized what was at stake, not just for my wallet, but for his own career, and did what was necessary. You know, you have to play, like, once like your health goes out the window, you have to play your 5 best players. There's no getting around that. You have to put Obi Toppin on the floor with Julius Randle because Sims isn't doing it. And who else do you have? You know, it's like Hartenstein was gassed because he started the second quarter and we were going down anyway. So I think that Tom Thibodeau did what was necessary. It was kind of like, like when people always ask, if you have one day left to live, what would you do? Right? It was like that was Tom Thibodeau's last day left. And he was like, you know what? I'm just going to go and see what happens. And he saw that Knicks Twitter was right. All the people who don't watch film as much as he does.
There you go. There's your new bat for tonight, everybody. Knicks Twitter was right. All right, man. Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just to this minute, I'm still so fascinated by what we're gonna get tonight because of what we got last night. I don't know if this is a desperate times, desperate measures Tom Thibodeau, I'm believing what I've been told. And for those of you just tuning in, apparently you can expect to see shout out G Verb in the chat. Desperate Tibbs Hive. Hashtag Desperate Tibbs Hive. You can expect to see Obi Toppin play starters minutes tonight. So if we're getting 35, 33 Obi Toppin minutes tonight, barring foul trouble, then I dig it. I don't care if he starts. I hope it's not like, I hope he's the first big off the bench if Ihart starts. I've got some notes about the Celtics that should tell you potentially how this game could go. This is also going to show Grimes being out, notwithstanding, they kind of have to start Cam and take advantage of their wing depth tonight. If they, I mean, Grimes being out and Fournier being Fournier might have actually depleted their wing depth a little bit. But this should be an interesting matchup. And I'm so curious what version of the Knicks we get, because for those who missed it from the Celtics side of things, Al Horford is out and Grant Williams is out, right? No,
I haven't seen that.
So Al Horford is out. We do know that. So let me double check on Grant Williams. Obviously, Robert Williams is out, but Al Horford is out. So get ready to see a lot of Luke Cornett. You might also get to see a lot of the Celtics going small, because their best lineup features Brogdon, Smart, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. So they might go to those four wings, or if you want to call Malcolm Brogdon a point guard and three wings lineup, which makes a lot of sense if you want to play Obi Toppin at the 5 or Julius Randle at the 5, or just positionless basketball, forwards and wings. I'm getting ahead of myself. This episode, or this and every episode, is presented by the fine folks over at WynnBet. Download the WynnBet app now or visit www.wynnbet.com to start winning. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet 100, win 100. Download, bet, win. So the Boston Celtics, Mensa, they're 5-3 on the season, 2-2 on the road. They come in here losing 3 of their last 5, so a loss would be 4 of their last 6. Math. Tatum on the season is averaging 38-4, on 50% from the field, 36.8 from 3, and 89.9 from the free throw line. Jaylen Brown, 24-6-3, or 24-7. I should round up, 25-7-3, which are great numbers in any other year. But this year, where it seems like we're in the steroid era for the NBA to start, he's shooting 44% from the field and 31.6% from 3 on 7 attempts, as well as 83.7 from the free throw line. The big thing you can point out is that Malcolm Brogdon has made his impact felt. 15 points per game off the bench, 3 assists, 3 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game, shooting 52% from the field, 38 from 3, and 90 from the line. Their most recent game, they won at home against the Chicago Bulls, 123-119. Tatum had 36 points on 23 shots, along with 12 rebounds and 6 assists, and Brogdon off the bench had 25 points on 9 of 10 shooting. Do you have any idea what they are top 5 in so far this season, Mensa? Based off of what would you think the Celtics are top 5 in?
Whenever I think Celtics, I always think top 5 in defense. It feels like this year they're top 5 offense with the addition of Brogdon, because normally they don't normally play 4 and 5 with Smart, but Smart has his limitations. So being able to put Brogdon in, and then with Jason Tatum deciding that he's the best forward in basketball, not named Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Celtics scare me a lot. I think they have a lot of switchable wings, but if I were to say anything, I think top 5 on defense that's just their calling card.
So ironically, they're not top 5 on defense. They are top 5 in offensive rating. They are 5th in offensive rating. In defense, they are in the middle of the pack. Yeah, they're 18th. They're in that. They've been back and forth between like 12th and 18th so far this season. They're top 5 in offensive rating. Turnover percentage, they barely turn the ball over, which this is why you get Malcolm Brogdon. This is one of their Achilles heels last year, especially during the playoffs. And then the biggest thing, because they play so much ISO between Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, at times Marcus Smart, and Malcolm Brogdon, they're number 5 in effective field goal percentage and number 1 in true shooting. And it's mostly because they are number 2 in free throw attempts. So they get to the line a lot. They're number 4 in personal fouls drawn. So, I mean, shout out to Mitch Robinson. Will not have to worry about potentially getting in foul trouble tonight against a team that is very good at getting bigs in foul troubles or just getting anybody in foul trouble. What their bottom 5 in is offensive rebound percentage. So this is why this is the game to experiment with Randall and Obi, because you're facing a very weak rebounding team, and they're going to be missing Al Horford. So that's a little inside the Celtics. Most fun game of last season was against the Celtics, and it ironically turned the Celtics season around. They went on a run to the NBA Finals after that. How are you feeling going into this game? What are you most looking for going into it, I should say?
I'm really worried about Boston's wings against us, especially with Quentin Grimes out. I know Evan Fournier plays bad against 29 teams. He plays well against one, and the one team that he plays well against is the team playing tonight. But just defensively, especially with where Tatum is at, having RJ hit a game winner in his face in this same building last year, I'm sure he has not forgotten that. And I know that's not statistical, but these guys are human beings, and there's always a human element to sports, which is why if there wasn't, we would not play the game. We would just run the numbers against each other. So I'm really looking for. I know Jaylen Brown shoots a lot of threes. I don't, and XJ will tell us all the time that the Knicks are culpable to giving up that corner three. So I am looking for Jaylen Brown to have a big night, because it's usually one or the other. And when both are having a big night, you can forget about the fourth quarter because the game is already over. So this is a team that is playing a weak center in Luke Cornett. He was not good enough to be a New York Knick in maybe the worst era to be a New York Knick. So not too worried about him. I know they do like Sam Hauser. I haven't seen much of his footage or anything like that, but if the Celtics like a guy, he's normally okay. And just like the point guards, I am worried about Brogdon versus Rose. Rose has not looked good this year. Rose has never been a strong defender. And Brogdon, like the second unit is really like been the Knicks thing for the past 3 years. So if Emmanuel quickly somehow gets the start, I highly doubt it.
He's not,
but
he's not.
I'm certain. I'm sure.
But plays a lot of minutes tonight.
Yeah, and the second unit is already going to lose one of its better players if Hartenstein ends up in the starting 5. I'm worried about Brogdon versus our second unit, which is probably coloring my betting and sweating pick. But I will leave that for another segment. But this game is not – I'm nowhere near as confident in the Knicks beating the Celtics tonight as I was in the Knicks beating the Sixers last night, as evidenced by my 4-unit bet that I placed on the money line.
I mean, the money line's better tonight. The Knicks have not yet announced their starting lineup still, so we're also waiting for that, which will also reflect when we get to betting and sweating, because there are no Knicks props announced right now because we don't know their starting 5. So here's a couple things. First of all, Jaylen Brown, as you mentioned. Also, Jason M in the chat. There's two different spellings of Jason that I'm back and forth on. So I see Jason M in the chat. Brings up a good point. How could I forget? Both teams played last night, so expect a sloppy game. That wasn't the thing I meant to pin, although good point, Jason. The 2 most fun games of last season were against Boston. How could I forget opening night?
Opening night,
yeah. Double overtime, and then one of the greatest internet videos came out, which might have been a curse because then a slogan that I do not acknowledge and will not pronounce. Although the clip of, and I'll just say this out of spite, my birthday buddy Tom Brady. And you know what? Fuck Tom Brady. Yeah, that's just our theme for today.
As a fellow Mets Jets guy, I second, triple, quadruple that. Tom Brady is my great. I thought Paul Pierce was my greatest nemesis, and then Tom Brady never retired. And I was like, the longevity of hate that I've had for this man is just unreal for somebody who goes to church every Sunday. But
exactly. And as somebody who like gets labeled the Eli Manning hater because I don't think he's a Hall of Famer,
I'm with you.
He's my hero also, which is why it's even more fun. That's why I wish Giant fans would recognize it. It's like, the reason I call like he's my hero and why it's fun to call him not a Hall of Famer is because it's like, wait, so Brady lost to that guy twice in the Super Bowl? Like, that makes it more fun. Anyway, all this to say, the The other thing I was going to say about Jaylen Brown, um, does take a lot of threes and had a big game against the Knicks last year. A couple good games against the Knicks last year. I mentioned he's off to a poor shooting start this season from three. He's shooting 31% from three on 7 attempts. I if Quentin Grimes was there tonight, I'd actually be very comfortable with the matchup. But the fact that he isn't, and they're gonna have to rotate between Cam and RJ and quickly, and man, I guess Evan Fournier if he's shooting the ball like he usually does against the Celtics. I'm with you on the fact that they will be that Jaylen Brown could be in for a bounce back game, and they will be very effective from 3-point land. I mentioned that they're fourth in 3-point attempts per game on the season. They average 39.4 3-point attempts per game. They're also 10th in 3-point percentage. So this is a top 10 team in 3-point shooting and top 4 team in 3-point attempts. And as we said, the paint packing Knicks, the paint packing Knicks, that is the bit of their kryptonite. So I say all of this, and the small lineup capabilities changes things for me. Like the fact that they could go small might actually make me favor them a little more. At least think that they have a better chance against it because they're not so desperate for rim protection, But we'll see. Is there anything else you want to add about the Celtics before we get to betting and sweating?
Anything else about the Celtics? I think we've covered it all. One thing though is I guess about the starting lineup with the New York Knicks. Not the starting lineup, a lot of Obi Toppin. Okay, so I always got to take it back somewhere.
Let's go.
2 years ago, when Lonzo Ball was a free agent, I did not expect Lonzo Ball to come to New York and be a point guard. I did like Lonzo Ball a lot though, because the one thing that I look at basketball a little differently than other people. It's not necessarily what position are you missing, but what is your offense or your defense missing. The Knicks for 3 years have been a bottom 10 offense. A lot of it is because we do not generate easy baskets. Having an athlete like Obi Toppin, once he's on the court, easy baskets flow because he's either shooting open threes or he's beating everybody down court. But a lot of it is based on his chemistry with a guy like Emmanuel Quickly or even a guy like RJ Barrett. So if Obi Toppin can generate a lot of easy baskets against a team that has no rim protection, I think the Celtics have not the Celtics, but I think the nation at large of basketball fans has underestimated how big a loss Robert Williams is, because I had no idea that they were 18th in defense. Like they didn't lose the defensive player of the year last year, but they lost Robert Williams. So I think that if Obi can really attack, and if Obi can get the ball down, be the wide receiver, be Randy Moss, be Travis Kelce, and just catch touchdowns all day, then we're in for a fun game. If the Celtics can take that away from us, get us to turn the ball over, then sloppy isn't the word. The game will be unwatchable.
Man, as long as it's a close game, I'll take it. We'll see. I'm very fascinated by how this game is going to go, because it's all set up for Tibbs to lean back into the thing that worked yesterday. And I go back to 2015. That's how far back I'll go real quick. And it's like the Warriors went into that season with starting power forward David Lee and starting center Andrew Bogut. And then David Lee got hurt. And so Draymond Green took his spot in the starting five. And then Steve Kerr a couple times experimented with this lineup of Harrison Barnes, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Andre Iguodala. And it was unbeatable. And it became what is known today as the death lineup.
And it changed basketball.
It literally did.
Forever.
For 3 years, everybody was like, for 2 years, everybody said we need to try and compete with that lineup. We had Serge Ibaka learning how to shoot three-pointers. Marc Gasol learning how to shoot three-pointers. It was, we need enough shooting. LeBron deciding I'm going to work on only three-pointers so I can get my percentage as close to 40 as possible. And as a result, I wonder, I'm not saying that's about to happen, that the Knicks found a death lineup. I'm just saying sometimes an injury can create opportunity. And this is where I'll give you credit, Mensa. You, before the season, I don't know if it was a town hall or the demo for this pregame show, or if you said it publicly, you said your big prediction for this year is that Isaiah Hartenstein will eventually take over from Mitch. That Mitch will get injured and lose his starting spot and won't return to it. Am I misquoting you at all? That the general thing is that you said
accurate, yeah.
if this will become Isaiah Hartenstein's starting five, so a starting job as the starting center, you know?
Yeah, well, I'm either going to be right or I'm going to be really wrong. But one thing about me is I'm confident. So I just think that giving like if nothing else, Hartenstein is going to give Jalen Brunson the room in the paint to operate. And that's something that Mitchell Robinson, for better or worse, does not give us. He's a great offensive rebounder, and that comes with his drawbacks being paint packing, right? So I think that I was actually going to ask you if you think that this, because now that we're talking about it and I'm like the brain juices are flowing, do you think it's crazy to say that this next 7 to 10 games will define the next season?
Yes.
I think it's, yeah, like what else? Because we have seen this team we've seen this not this five, because not Brunson, but we've seen this four for what, 90 games, around, not 90 games, around, yeah, like 85-ish games. We've seen a bunch of the Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson lineup to know that it doesn't work. It gets you, it's a one-way trip to mediocrity, right? And we're locked into all of their contracts for the rest of for the foreseeable future, but also because of this injury and because Fournier has already been taken out of the starting lineup, like, I'm not saying that the Knicks are going to go on and conquer the world, but could this give Tom Thibodeau a new lease on life? Could this give RJ Barrett the space that he needs to operate? Could this start the Jalen Brunson, comeback season or whatever?
Mm-hmm.
Like
most improved season, yeah.
Right. Like, what are your thoughts on what this could actually turn into? Not like the fanboy, we're going to win 56 games kind of stuff,
So, Mensa, there's two elements that are fascinating that you're hitting on right now. What did we all say for 2 days about this team for after the Hawks game? That the next 7 to 10 games were going to decide Tom Thibodeau's fate. Now, right, after one night where he actually adjusted, it might decide it the other way. That it's like, oh, something else is working and it's against my defensive philosophies. I'm with you on the fact that here's the thing. I don't think it will just say they do go 2-5 with Mitch out, right? But they're playing competitive. Obi has found a role in this starting five. We got a quick announcement. So I'll just say that I agree with you, first of all, that the next 7 to 10 games are going to be big, because I think we're going to find out for real if this Obi top-in against starters mass minutes is a thing, and if those plus minus on-off numbers that we see are real. Cam Reddish is starting tonight, which I assumed was the plan, by the way. Once I saw that Grimes was out, the second preseason game, he started Cam. So I figured that's the direction he was going to go. This also confirms that Evan Fournier officially not a starter, which I really, 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 really think this was always going to be the plan for the Knicks. They went into the season thinking Evan Fournier is not going to be a starter long term. And as a result, the only reason we saw him start this beginning of the season was because Quentin Grimes got hurt. So, man, I just say Cam Reddish, good for you. I was questioning your NBA future. The pod that Jeremy and I did when John was on vacation, and I was like, I don't see it. Bad job by me. Two hands up. I was wrong. You have a place in this league, and right now you're a starter.
I can't give. You gotta give yourself a little more credit than that, because the footage was the footage. Cam Reddish.
Oh yeah. I was going off of the evidence, but I didn't see him turning it around. And oh boy, did he turn it around! Good for him.
I think we have to give. I don't think that, because a lot of times, I'm more process driven than results driven. We all saw what Cam Reddish was, but it's not that we were crazy for doubting that he would have an NBA future after the team that drafted him 10th overall basically gave him up for peanuts. And then he came here and looked like he was not worth peanuts. We have to give credit to Tom Thibodeau and his staff for being able to develop now quickly. Grimes, Toppin, Sims looks okay. Mitchell Robinson got a bag because of the work that he's done with these guys, and now Cam Reddish. They've been able to work with these young guys, and we've seen that especially with that Fred Katz article that came out last year about how the young guys came in early and just like built a cohesiveness and the chemistry. Cam wasn't on the team for, I guess, for those early sessions, but that culture is in the building. So we have to give them credit, and we also have to give credit to the front office for knowing what was going on in the building with the young guys and saying, hey, this kid Cam Reddish is 6'8", 225, long as all hell. If we can even make this kid into a rotation player because of his measurables, it's worth triple what we're going to pay for him. So we have to give credit to those guys for essentially taking water and making wine, because Cam Reddish was not looking like an NBA basketball player. That's just the truth. He was not looking like it. A lot of people are optimistic and was like, no, but he has this and he has that. Let's be honest. Like, if you go back and look at Cam Reddish's freshman season at Duke, he was the reason they did not win the national championship. He did not play well. Like, not at all. R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson were unanimous. Like, they were consensus first-team All-Americans. When you have two consensus first-team All-Americans and they're dragging you by your name and your corpse to, I think it was an Elite Eight, they lost to Michigan State. Like, he's always been potential, and after a while, potential dries up. So the Knicks, we have to give the Knicks credit where the credit is due, especially after last night when me and Sean were all about Leon Rose. It's looking good. And I will say this: if this does turn around the fate of Tom Thibodeau, he might be God's favorite coach.
Because 9 lives, Jesus.
Yeah. Because he would not have done this if Mitchell Robinson did not get hurt. Like, you cannot convince me that he would have gone to that lineup if Mitchell Robinson was still healthy. He would have still been banging his head against the wall and screaming ice and all kinds of craziness. That injury is the reason, more than Tom Thibodeau's willingness to change, is the reason we got to see the Obi Toppin and Julius Randle front court.
Give a shout out to Jason M again. Good comment. Good for the Knicks, like you just said. Good for the Knicks coaching staff and development for reprogramming Cam Reddish. He is a completely different player from the player he was in Atlanta, as you had just said. So, listen, Tibbs giveth, Tibbs have taketh away, and right now he has giveth us a starting wing that I think everybody's really happy about. I cannot believe I'm saying this. I'm really happy to see Cam Reddish in the starting 5, not like reluctantly ready to see it. This actually, I think, is the correct decision on a team with Emmanuel Quickley and Evan Fournier and other, at times, higher in the pecking order guards, Okay, you ready for Fred Katz? First of all, everybody, so you can see it, Fred Katz just tweeted out Isaiah Startenstein is what he said.
The agenda lives.
Well done. Well done. This is the Knicks starting 5 for tonight, so everybody can see it. Brunson, Reddish, Barrett, Randall, and Isaiah Hartenstein. As always, this pregame show is brought to you by WynnBet. Download the WynnBet app today or visit www.wynnbet.com to start winning. Sign up today to receive a special offer. Bet 100, win 100. Download, bet, win. Speaking of our friends at WynnBet, let's go to betting and sweating presented by our friends at WynnBet. So this is wynnbet.com. This is the Knicks betting line for tonight, or at least the game lines for tonight. The Boston Celtics currently favored -4.5. I guess they weren't ready, or Vegas wasn't updated yet that Cam Reddish is starting, so the Knicks should be favored by at least double digits. The Knicks money line for tonight is +155. The over-under for the game is 226. If you're expecting a sloppy game, the under would have hit last night. In fact, the under did hit last night. It was 210 when the line was 219. XJ has already sent us his pick. I'm still waiting to hear from Sean. XJ's pick for tonight is right here. He is taking the Jaylen Brown over in points at 22.5. So that's 100 to win 80. So that'd be 180 total for XJ. Sean has just texted me, so let's find out. He's still looking, is what he said.
Hmm.
So Mensa, where are you leading tonight?
Um, it was slim pickings because of the Knicks' late lineup announcement, but I do like. I think it's Jalen Brunson points in over 25 points and assists tonight. I do like because for two reasons. No real center for Boston is playing tonight, and the added dimension of having Hartenstein out of the paint. I think that gives Brunson an opportunity to at least hit his points over, but that was not available when I took it when I was looking. So I think points and assists under player combos for Jalen Brunson
Gotcha.
25 is I don't know if it was between like 150
Win
and plus
plus
money.
100 right now. Plus 100 right
Yeah,
now.
so that's where I'm going.
So
Jalen
that's where
Brunson.
Mensa's going. Jalen Brunson plus 100, 25 plus points or assists. Um, Sean, what good thinking. Okay, Sean's taking the under for tonight. So it's minus 110, so it's 100 to win 90.9. My pick for tonight, I'm thinking similarly to you. I am also thinking about 3-pointers though, because there's something about. Well, okay, let me just remind everybody. But we did this so out of order, Mensa. Now that I'm looking at it, I did this so out of order because yesterday the four of us made bets and something incredible happened that doesn't normally happen and deserves credit for being recognized. I gotta find it though. Where is it? All four of us were right.
Yep, just
So
like
let me.
Nick's Twitter. It was
Yes,
a great night for
that's
Nick's
like
Twitter.
Nick's Twitter. Let me put your tweet on the screen. Here we go. So you have Sean had Brunson over 16.5 points, nailed it. You had the Knicks money line in the first half, nailed it. Obi 10 plus points and assists. XJ nailed it. And I had the double result. The Knicks had to be winning at halftime and winning at the end of the game, and I nailed it. Our first ever prop betting and sweating sweep between the four of us. So now that I put WynnBet back on the screen and go over to the game props, I don't want to try it again. I don't want to do it again. I don't want to go Knicks and go plus 260. I am, however, let me see if he's available. Obi Toppin. I'm gonna ride this Obi Toppin wave if they have Obi Toppin lines. Oh crap! WynnBet
Yeah,
update. Oh
I didn't
well.
see it.
All right. All right. I
Yeah,
have
it
to
was
take a.
slim pickings tonight.
It
I'm
was
gonna
slim
go.
pickings because neither team had their what's it called? Had their um starting lineups up until late in the game. All right, I'm gonna go with Jason Tatum. This is 3-pointers made. It's wow. Okay, you can see I'm struggling right now with a
Yeah,
combo.
it was hard.
All right, Tatum's averaging 30 and 8 on the season. I think he's gonna get close to that and go. I'm gonna bet big on this. Jason Tatum points. Oh no, that's points and assists. Hold on, let me go down to Tatum rebounds. Points and rebounds. This makes more sense. Jason Tatum points and rebounds. That's what we're going with tonight. Jason Tatum points and rebounds. At least 40 is plus 140. So that's my pick for tonight. Jason
Oh
Tatum
yeah.
points and rebounds. He will get at least 40 combined. Okay, that'll do it for another edition of Betting and Sweating and the KFS pregame show. Do you have anything to say before we get out of here, Mensa?
I if I had anything to say, it's that I'm waiting to hear from the Knicks. I want to see what they have to say tonight. This is another game where it's not we're not favorites in this game because the best two players play for the Celtics. We don't have anybody better than Jaylen Brown. We don't have anybody better than Jason Tatum. Please don't stone me, Knicks Twitter. I love
Mm-mm.
RJ Barrett as much as anybody else. I love Jalen Brunson just as much as anybody else, but the facts are the facts. Um, they have the better two players, but I think let's say 3 through 7. I do like, yeah, I can say this pretty confidently. I do like Jalen Brown. I mean, I do like Jalen Brunson. I do like RJ Barrett. I do like Isaiah Hartenstein and Obi Toppin more than anybody else on the Celtics as of right now. Um, so yeah, I think the Knicks have more depth tonight. I think that Hartenstein should feast in the paint. I think that Julius Randle should feast in the paint because they don't really have anybody that can guard him. But that also can backfire because when Julius Randle knows a guy can't guard him, he goes and shoots like 5 for 17. So this game can go either way. But as the optimistic Knicks fan, we're at home. We just gutted out a tough one, and I think the Knicks have seen something in themselves last night. I think Tom Thibodeau has seen it, and they got to ride the momentum. Boston almost lost the game last night. They shouldn't be feeling too great about themselves. I know they have. I know last time they were here, they got beat pretty in a pretty embarrassing way with the bank shot buzzer beater. But gotta go with the Knicks tonight. Hopefully we win. I like the under a lot, especially because this would be the Knicks. What I think this is the Knicks' fourth game this week, or is it the third game?
Fourth
I
game
don't know.
this week. You nailed it.
Yeah, so both teams should be a little tired.
Third,
Both are
third game
traveling.
in third game in 4 days too. They played
Hmm.
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So
Okay, so the under is a great bet. Shout out to
mhm.
Sean. Um, I really like. I'd be lying if I told you how I knew this game was going to go because I don't know what the rotation is going to be, and the Celtics are a very, very, very tricky bunch, and they play very well. So we'll see what happens.
Fred Katz, good call. The Knicks are starting 4 lefties tonight. I have no idea if this has happened before. I really don't think it means anything advantageous or disadvantageous, but it is tremendously weird. So enjoy. Yes, the Knicks are starting 4 lefties tonight. So we'll see if everybody's just going to end up going to the left tonight. I echo everything you said and want to add one more thing from Wellicrum Gaming, the remnant, fade Claudio. That is a strategy that has worked very well throughout the season so far. I've gotten one right on betting and sweating, and it was last night. And it only happened because I decided very late. It only happened because I decided very late to change my pick, and because Tom Thibodeau found religion. So hopefully I'm right. Until then, keep the strategy in place. Thank you everybody for tuning into the KFS pregame show. We do this an hour before every the tip off of every Knicks game. Thank you to Mensa for joining me. Please follow him on Twitter. His handle is in the name tag under his face. And folks, thank you as always for tuning in. Dan Hidalgo's commenting on my Obi shirt. That won't be the giveaway, but if you want a giveaway from the Knicks Film School Patreon, that is something we give away every 3 months. And the new one is the first ever KFS custom hat. So you're gonna want to be subscribed to the Ewing tier for that. Having said all of this, thank you for tuning in. Let's go Knicks, Knicks Nation. Let's ride.